I never thought I'd be the guy rifling through my wife's phone at 2 a.m., heart pounding like a drum in a horror flick. But there I was in our dimly lit bedroom, the glow of her screen casting shadows on the walls as I stared at the message. Can't wait for our wild getaway. Pack light, clothes optional. Winking face, it was from Mark, a name I'd heard her mention casually as a work colleague. My stomach twisted into knots. Sarah, my Sarah, the woman I'd built a life with for 8 years. Was this really happening? I set the phone down, hands shaking, and slipped back into bed beside her. She stirred, murmuring something soft, her arm draping over me like nothing was wrong. But everything was wrong. The next morning, I played it cool over breakfast. Busy day at the office? I asked, stirring my coffee, forcing a smile. She nodded, her eyes flicking to her phone. Yeah, meetings all afternoon. Might be late. Her voice was light, but I caught the hesitation, the way her fingers tapped the table. A nervous tick she'd had since college. Denial hit me hard. Maybe it was innocent, a joke. But that emoji, it burned in my mind. As days passed, suspicion gnawed at me like a relentless itch. I catch her smiling at her screen in the evenings, quickly locking it when I entered the room. Just work emails, she'd say, but her laugh sounded forced. I started paying attention to the little things. The new lingerie in her drawer, bought for us, she claimed. The sudden interest in weekend yoga retreats. The way she'd angle her body away when texting. One night, after she fell asleep, I checked again. More messages. Remember that night in Vegas? This trip will top it. Vegas? We'd never been there together. My chest tightened, a mix of heartbreak and rage bubbling up. How long had this been going on? Was our marriage just a facade? I confronted her subtly at first, testing the waters. Over dinner, I mentioned, "Hey babe, let's plan a spontaneous trip. Just us." Her face paled for a split second before she recovered. "Oh, that sounds fun, but work's crazy right now. Maybe next month." Her excuse rang hollow. That night, alone in the garage, I paced, tears stinging my eyes. Denial crumbled into anger. How could she? We'd met in our early 20s, built dreams together. A cozy house, talks of kids. I'd supported her through job losses, family dramas. And this was my reward? Betrayal sliced deeper than any knife. The clues piled up, each one a hammer to my crumbling trust. I found a hidden app on her phone for encrypted chats. Nothing damning, but why hide it? Then, an email receipt for a luxury cabin rental in the mountains, booked for 2 under her name. Surprise for us? I whispered to myself, but the dates matched her business trip. Suspicion turned to certainty when I overheard her on a call in the bathroom. "I miss you too. Can't wait to get away from all this." Her voice was husky, intimate, not the tone she used with friends. I felt sick, the world tilting. Heartbreak washed over me in waves. I loved her, god damn it. But love wasn't enough anymore. Anger fueled my next steps. I couldn't just walk away. I needed her to feel the collapse, to understand the pain she'd inflicted. Revenge brewed in my mind, dark and calculated. I hired a private investigator discreetly, using cash from our joint account she'd never notice. The report came back like a gut punch. Photos of her with Mark, a slick salesman from her firm, laughing at coffee shops, his hand on her thigh in a parked car. They'd been seeing each other for 6 months. 6 months of lies while I worked overtime to surprise her with anniversary gifts. I planned meticulously, channeling my rage into precision. First, I mirrored her phone to mine, watching the plans unfold. The wild getaway was this weekend. A secluded cabin, champagne, no interruptions. She told me she'd be at a conference in the city. "Don't wait up," she said with a kiss that tasted like poison. I smiled back, my heart a storm. "Have fun, love." That Friday, as she packed, I acted normal, helped zip her suitcase even. But inside, fury simmered. Once she left, I sprang into action. I contacted Mark's wife. Yes, he was married too, via an anonymous tip from a burner phone. "Check his plans this weekend," I texted, attaching a screenshot of their messages. Then, I drove to the cabin ahead of them, arriving under cover of dusk. I didn't break in, no, that was too crude. Instead, I rigged the place subtly, hidden cameras I bought online, streaming to my laptop. Not for blackmail, for exposure. They arrived, giggling, hands all over each other. I watched from a nearby motel, bile rising as they toasted with wine. "To us," she said, her voice echoing the vows she'd once made to me. It broke something inside, but I held firm. As they undressed, I hit send, a live feed link to her parents, his wife, our mutual friends, and her boss. Anonymously, of course, with a note. "Thought you should know about the business trip." Chaos erupted. Phones blew up with calls. Mark's wife showed up pounding on the door, screaming. Sarah's face on the feed, pure shock, tears streaming as realization dawned. I didn't stick around for the fallout. Driving home, a mix of vindication and emptiness washed over me. Revenge tasted bittersweet. I'd shattered her world as she'd shattered mine. By morning, she was at our door sobbing. "How could you?" she wailed. I looked her in the eyes, voice steady despite the ache. "How could I? You planned a wild getaway behind my back. I just made sure everyone got invited." We divorced quickly after that. She lost her job, her reputation tarnished. Mark's marriage imploded too. Me? I rebuilt piece by piece, therapy, new hobbies, even dated again. But the scar remains, a reminder of trust fragility. Looking back, I wonder if revenge healed or just scarred deeper. Yet in that moment of exposure, I reclaimed my power. And damn, it left them speechless.